So I'm actually keeping you up right at the beginning. We're going to start it off just like this. So welcome to another episode of Talk With Bauer. I am Josh JBauerart, the host, the guy that runs this shit show. So welcome to the show. This is episode number 5. And we actually have, technically, it's his first time on here, but he's also a recurring guest, our first-time recurring guest. It is actually Ryan Permison. Did I say it right?
Yes, you did.
Nice. Of Nerd Culture, and if you guys did not see the very first episode of Talk With Bauer, before it even had a name, before it even was a concept, Ryan and I hopped on Instagram Live and did a good hour and a half show.
Yeah, it was fun.
Yeah, we had a great time, but that is lost to the Instagram gods and the social media gods. So technically, it's his second time on here, or first time, whichever way you want to go. A little bit above. But he decided to hop on again, and I wanted to get him as an official guest, so he felt all fancy and everything. So thank you for joining, sir. How are you?
I'm doing well. Thanks for having me again, or times 3, times 4, however many times we've been on this shindig of yours, I should say. You're the master, you're the GM. But no, this is great. It's great to be back. It's good to be here. This is always fun to take some time out of our schedules and our days during this crazy time that we're all living in, and just shoot the breeze, have fun with one another, see what the people are saying in the chat, which is, I'm sure, going to be a lot of fun to look at tonight. So, yeah.
For sure. Yeah, there is a lot to talk about. There's even some breaking news that I just caught right before hopping on here, so we'll get to that in a little bit. But I figured the first thing we should chat about, because we should have done this earlier, but I already had things planned and then all that stuff, and it's kind of been crazy. But we have not chatted since CyberCon.
Yes.
So I figured we could. This is not my fancy hat. This is my normal hat, sir. My fancy hat is even fancier than this. What the hell? So if you're watching this, listening to this, and not familiar with CyberCon was an event. When the hell did we put that thing on?
Jeez, I think it was like, what was it, 4 weeks ago? A month ago?
3,
almost?
4, 5,
3 or 4
100.
weeks
I don't
ago.
know. The Corona timeline has thrown me off. It feels like we've been doing this crap for a year now, and it's only been a couple of months.
Yeah. Oh, now I remember. It was June 17th to the 19th, I think it was. Yeah.
Yes.
17th through the 19th? Or 21st to the 23rd?
17th through the 19th sounds about right, and it was April.
Yes, April 17th to the 19th. That was a great weekend.
Yes. So CyberCon was this big event that Hanging with Web Show, myself, and several other amazing folks put on. It was hi, Crystal, how are you? It's an amazing event that we put on. It went on for 56 hours straight. We started on a Friday night at noon, or Friday at noon, and went till Sunday at 6 p.m. It was filled with artists, panels, comic creators, Power Rangers, cartoons, pretty much anything and everything you could find at a convention. It was filled into this event. It was all streamed right here live on Facebook, just how we're doing right now through Be Live. And it was amazing. There was some few hiccups here and there, which we could chat about, but overall, I think the event was phenomenal. It was put on really well. I tuned in and out all through the day here and there. I had to Saturday. I was kind of for a few hours hanging around my house, just waiting for Sage to message me to hop on to transition between segments. And I would be laying on my couch and I'd just get into a chill mood, and Sage is like, "We need you on real quick." I'm like, and I'm running across the house, turning all the lights on, and okay, I'm ready. So there was all kinds of craziness. So my first question for you, sir, would be, what was your favorite part?
Yeah, CyberCon was a great event, and all credit goes to everybody who worked behind the scenes to put it on. You guys did a tremendous job, and we all salute you. My hats are off to everybody who worked on it. But anyway, my favorite part of it was it's actually a combination of two things. One was the Power Rangers in Space panel, to have all those legends together in one panel, and Power Rangers guy Christian and Thomas, aka Thor, Odin's son's doppelganger.
Yes.
Having his geek out moment. That was fun. I enjoyed some of the panels. The other thing I enjoyed were some of the virtual vendors. They were incredible. Great artwork, great comic stores, famous faces and funnies. You've taken a lot of my money lately. So thank you, I guess, is in order. Everybody at Famous Faces and Funnies, you guys are 100% awesome. You've taken a lot of my money. Thanks for doing that, I guess. But it's been great. No, there were a lot of great things. But the panel between Power Rangers in Space, the virtual vendors I thought were great. And it's hard to pick just one moment or one particular instance of CyberCon because it was just such a great operation that everyone put together. But yeah, those were some of my highlights. And obviously, the opportunity that Neuroculture and I had during our page panel, which was fantastic, and everyone enjoyed it. Everyone had a great time. A lot of people were interacting in the chat, which we appreciate. Thank you all for doing that, especially you, Thor's doppelganger, Thomas. Man, when he likes something, he likes to express that very much so, and we appreciate his support too. So Thomas, thumbs up, man. We love you.
Oh, for sure, for sure. Thomas was actually on episode 2 of Talk With Bauer. I can't wait to have him on again. That's probably been one of my my favorite things. Like kind of the I don't know if aftermath is a good word, but we'll use it. The aftermath of CyberCon is people like Thomas, people like Dan and Angie from It's All Fine and Dangie. It was so cool to meet people like that and get connected and work with them. And I'm sure we'll be working more down the road. Some opportunities here and there have opened up for me with different folks. So yeah, it has been, and I really feel bad if we don't talk about somebody or don't mention something. Number one, there was 56 hours of freaking content.
And a lot of people.
Just on the mainstream alone. That's not even counting all the people that were a part of the side panels or the page panels.
Oh yes.
So I do apologize if we forget something or miss something, but there was so much. It was insane. One of my favorite parts, it actually was a part that I was involved in, was my podcast super show that I held Saturday night. I had not laughed that hard in a very long time, especially since all the Corona shit started. And my face hurt the next morning, and I had party girl voice because I was laughing so hard and we were causing so much trouble that night.
Wow.
A big shout out, as always, to hold on, I got Patricio from With a Side of Chaos, John Hanan and Pizza Peisenberg from Funny to Informing, and Rocky from What's the Fuss. They all joined in and we did this. It was basically a big Central Florida podcast. I hate calling myself a podcast because I'm not an official podcast yet. I'm still working on that part. But I hosted it and we caused a lot of chaos. It was so fun with Garrett popping in every so often to shake his cane at us and yell at us. And then the voice of God giving us permission to go even crazier on the show. And man, that was a lot of fun. I definitely will be reaching out to that entire crew a little bit later in June or maybe in the next week or so to bug them and say, when's the next time we're doing a super show? Because I know Rocky wants me on his show and everybody had a blast, so we can't wait to put it on again. And I hope to have more people involved. I would like to do one a month and have different podcasts involved in everything. So I'm sure I will be, hog tying a few people here and there and getting them in there. So it should be a lot of fun. But that was probably one of my favorite parts. I really dug the Power Ranger conversation.
Yeah, that was really cool.
Yeah, and then my buddies Happy Hour with Johnny and Deuce. They did a really good segment. I think that was Friday evening. They did a fantastic segment, and I got to names are really hard for me, but they had their video game guy, Retro Gaming Monthly, I want to say it is. And they had him on, and I loved it and hated it because all it wanted me to do was go and buy as much old PlayStation games as I could find.
Oh man!
Because I have an old PlayStation that's sitting right here. I actually have sitting here right in front of me is a old PS1, an N64, Sega Genesis, and an original Nintendo.
Oh my gosh!
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah. The only thing I'm really missing is what a
Sega Saturn?
Super.
No, I'm kidding.
No. a Super Nintendo.
Oh, Super Nintendo. Yeah, yeah.
And
yeah.
I need a PS2 as well. There's
Okay.
a few games on the PS2 that I really want. But man, watching them and listening to them and just talk about all the games and looking at the background of what that gentleman had, oh my God. I'm like, I got to get some old games. I got to get this thing hooked back up. The only thing I have for my PlayStation right now is the old Die Hard game. I don't know if you've ever played that.
I haven't played it, but I've seen it make appearances on your Instagram saying, hey, this is what I'm doing tonight. The night is slow. I don't have much going on, so I'm going to play this on the PS1. Like,
sure. Oh, man. I love that game. It is so awesomely terrible. I got to say the first one, because each movie is its own game.
Yes.
So this is where we're going to veer off because this will happen quite a bit tonight. But the first movie is a third person weird shooter that you're way above him and you have to go through the Nakatomi building that looks nothing like the Nakatomi building and save hostages and kill bad guys. And that is my favorite part of the game. Like anytime I turn it on, that's the automatic one I go to. And then you get into Die Hard 2. You're a first person shooter and it's you could get a gun. I used to have a gun that you could use to shoot. Excuse me. But you can use the PS1 controller and try to control that and shoot. That is god awful but fun to play. And, it's like those old arcade games that you love to play.
Oh yeah.
So that's not too bad. And then the third one, Die Hard with a Vengeance, is like the shittiest version of Crazy Taxi you have ever played.
Wow.
It is god awful. God awful. I very rarely play that section.
Okay. Fair enough.
But it's I actually found the game before I found the PlayStation 1 because I've been wanting to get one. This was like a couple years ago, but I've been wanting to get one. And we were there's random like stores around here. They're now Hudson stores that sell the retro stuff and everything like that. And I walked in there. We're walking around checking out the old games, and right there, Die Hard. I'm like, and it was like $10. I snagged that thing, and I'm like, okay, gotta find a PlayStation. And it took a few months to find a PlayStation, and I got one. I actually got one at a small convention I was at, and $100, and it was mine. I'm like, I'll take it.
Okay, nice.
60 or 100, I can't remember. I might have gotten it a little bit cheaper, but yeah, I was quite happy with that.
Well, I'm glad you found it.
Oh yeah. So yeah, that's we could talk video games all the time too, but back to CyberCon. I have to say, if it ever happens again, I am not live painting that early ever again. God, especially doing the late night podcast and then going to the next morning trying to live paint. I'm just like, I hate myself right now.
and you're speaking of the time you did it early on that Sunday morning at 7, right? Right after I got off there.
Yeah, I was right on there after you.
Did my movie panel, and then you came on. You're like, "Hey guys, yeah, I'm here.
I'm here.
Let's do it. Bunny's here. Like, yeah, let's do this. Let's go.
We're all here. I'm gonna paint this effing picture. I'm actually looking at the painting right in front of me right now because I hid it for a while. Because if nobody noticed, I didn't post the painting at all. I hate the painting. It looks terrible, and it took a lot longer than what I thought was going to finish that painting. So I'm thinking about posting it and selling as is, see if anybody's interested, and then if nobody's interested, maybe try to fix it. But yeah, it's one of those paintings I absolutely hate.
I can to a certain extent I can understand that.
Oh yeah. Hey Chad, how are you? Thank you for stopping in, sir. So yeah, what else happened through CyberCon?
Jeez, more like what didn't happen during CyberCon. But yeah, I will say this though: the end of the show, it was on Sunday. It was like 5:30 in the afternoon, right before you guys wrapped, right?
Right.
So you had all the crew on there, and Sage and was it Sage and is it GW or G? Is it GW? Is that his name?
Yep, GW.
Or GW. Okay, so they're on there, right? And GW's like, I was like half asleep, and I heard this guy saying, "Good morning, CyberCon." He was remembering what I said, because in the morning when Sage brought me on, I did a Robin Williams "Good Morning Vietnam" impression. I was like, "Good morning, CyberCon," and Sage loved that. And then GW brings that up, and I'm like, oh my gosh, like of all the people that they are mentioning throughout the course of this show, my name gets popped up not once, but like twice. And I'm like, not that I'm trying to like toot my own horn or anything, but to get shout outs like that from people I just met through a convention that they just put together like a few weeks prior to that, I'm like, man, Neuroculture and I must have made quite an impression, because have GW and GW. Sorry, I just say that weirdly, but
we're gonna start calling him GW now.
GW. I'm sorry, it's what appears.
He's got to wear his hat twisted now and everything.
Exactly.
Really cool.
GW and Sage for giving us shout outs. We appreciate that, and that's just great. And to make connections like that, especially with Thomas, anytime I mention the word power and Rangers in the same sentence, he's like, what? All right, what is it? Because we did a video on our channel that's up right now. It was Travis and I from Neuroculture. We talked about Power Rangers in space, and I was like, hey, I'm bummed that I missed this live, but I'm definitely here for the replays.
Nice.
I'm like, there you go, man. It's up on the channel, so feel free to watch it whenever your heart's content.
Yeah, and if you're watching live right now, if you're watching as we go, Terry, the awesome Terry over in Ireland, just popped in the CyberCon Facebook page, and I believe they're turning it into like a live concert page right now.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of their main focus. So they just threw a weekend or a Saturday show a couple weeks ago and had a bunch of different musicians on there. So make sure to follow, like, and all that to catch some amazing upcoming musicians.
Absolutely.
Oh, excuse me. So yeah, it was one hell of a weekend. A couple people were like, "When's the next one?" I'm like, "I hope for not another year," because I didn't even do anywhere near as much as Hanging with Web Show did, and I was wrecked the next day. By the time Sunday was done, I'm just like, I quit. Monday, I just laid around the house and watched TV all day because I took the Monday off. I'm like, I'm not going to work after all this. Yeah, I took a vacation day, and
I'm surprised you didn't sleep for the whole 24 hours of Monday.
Yeah, I didn't. Well, with having to get up so early on Saturday and Sunday, because I had both days live painting early in the morning. I crashed really well. Friday I crashed early. Saturday I think I finally went to bed at like 11:30 midnight. So I got a good few hours. But yeah, I made it through. It's next week. Get out, Terry.
Oh, jeez. No, but yeah, if CyberCon ever comes up again, Neuroculture and I are more than happy to come back because we had so much fun the first time. We're more than happy to do it all over again.
And I told you as soon as everybody started friend requesting you, it was so funny. You messaged me, blah blah blah's friending me, blah blah blah.
Yeah,
like,
Deanna,
you're part of the family now.
And Jen and like all these other people are friends. I'm like, who's Tom? Like, what is this?
Yeah,
you're in the family, man. Just deal with it. I'm like, all right, cool. More friends to add on my page.
Yeah.
But they're great people, though. We love them.
So I got a bunch of different things in the list. So we'll jump back and forth and see how much we can get into before the end of the show. So I actually wanted to go Star Wars first, if you're interested. I've seen a couple people. I've seen a couple people posting it through the day. So I didn't know if you knew. It's the 21-year anniversary of The Phantom Menace. And then it's the 15-year anniversary of Revenge of the Sith.
Revenge of the Sith. Yes, sir. Yep. Episode 3. Yep. I saw a few people posting on, Instagram today about Episode 3. I didn't hear anything about Episode 1 because the 20-year anniversary was last year.
Yeah. So a couple of people have put up in different pages I follow, basically going, choose one. Choose your favorite. So I'll ask you, what is your favorite between the two?
Oh, between Phantom Menace and Revenge of the Sith, it's no contest for me. Phantom Menace, easy.
Okay, yeah.
I rewatched the prequel trilogy, and 2 and 3 are at the bottom of my list. So they're bad, at least in my opinion.
I really like. So if we're talking all three of them of the prequel trilogy,
strictly the prequels, yeah.
And I really can't pick a favorite because I don't love any of them. If I really had to pick a favorite, it would actually be Attack of the Clones because it sets up for Clone Wars.
Oh, that's fair.
You don't have Clone Wars, which is one of my favorite Star Wars things is the animated series Clone Wars.
Oh yeah.
You don't get that show without Attack of the Clones movie. Now I do really like Phantom Menace but mostly I like Phantom Menace because you get Darth Maul.
Man, that lightsaber battle at the end between those three.
Oh yeah.
And Duel of the Fates, which is the piece of music by John Williams that's playing during the course of those scenes. I mean, if that's not the ultimate battle between good, if that's not a good illustration, I should say, of good versus evil, I don't know what is.
Yeah, and I love how they've been using that music through so many different things. If you watch like the Easter egg reviews and stuff, and I'm blanking on the YouTube channel that I follow, but they do the breakdowns and they talk about the music and everything. And they have gone and they'll not even just that song, but a bunch of different major songs for the original movies and more. They toss them into the TV shows and movies where you see more, or like they slow it down or speed it up or change the octave, so it's the same song but it sounds different. But if you really are paying attention, you catch that, and you're like, and it reminds you of like, because I even think they put Duel of the Fates in one of the last episodes of Clone Wars when Darth Maul and Asuka were going after each other. I think it does pop in there. So hey Alfred, how's it going? Oh yeah, Alfred wanted to push his artwork as much as possible, and please drop your link in there, Alfred. You're more than welcome, so people can click on it. And Kyle Nunez does not remember sleeping all weekend. Between you and Terry, I'm sure neither of you slept the whole time.
Jeez.
But yeah, I can't believe it's been, because I actually saw Phantom Menace in the theater. I don't think I went and saw Revenge of the Sith in the theater. I cannot remember for the life of me. I'm not a big fan of Revenge of the Sith. I like, seeing, like, the end is probably the best part of it, and then you're getting some of the fight scenes are really cool, but I'm one of the guys, I don't hate on him a ton, but I wasn't a fan of the guy that played Anakin Skywalker.
Hayden Christensen, yeah.
Yeah, I don't think it was his fault. No, it was how it was written for him.
Executed.
And they just, the way they directed him and the way they wrote it, it's like, this guy turns to Darth Vader. So
easily, too.
Right.
So easily. He's like, well, I had a vision. My girl's kind of dead, so how do I save her? Well, you gotta do the dark side. The forces of the Jedi. I'm like, really, dude? Like, well, it doesn't even take him that much to be seduced to the dark. I'm like, really?
If you watched some of the behind the scenes stuff and the breakdowns, it actually explains a little bit better that he was being groomed the whole time.
Yeah, that's true.
And it's really subtle. Hold on, I gotta give a shout out to the YouTube channel I keep talking about, because I'm gonna be really mad. Who the hell is it? Oh yeah, there it is. So it's if you want really good breakdowns, it's New Rock Stars. You can find them on YouTube, and they do the best breakdowns of everything, like superheroes, Star Wars, comics. Oh, wow. And you should really check them out, because they've done like several breakdowns and Easter egg hunts of the Marvel films, the whole Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Oh, sure.
Well, they're going through it again as like a third time around because of the quarantine and everything. And they can't really do new stuff. So they're going through it again. And I've even liked these new rounds even more, because they're really getting in depth. They're getting into even like movie depth of how a film is made or something like that. Nice. And they do an awesome job. So it's New Rock Stars on YouTube. Please go check them out. And then when they get up and going again, they'll do even trailer breakdowns.
Oh my gosh.
They're so good. They do conspiracy theories in movies, and they give out their thoughts and stuff. And sometimes they're dead on, other times they're not so much, but it's just really cool what they see in a movie, what you miss. They've gotten me so trained anymore that I'm getting better at it as I'm watching movies, and I'm driving my wife insane.
Oh, wow. All right, nice. Another little thing I have to put on my to-do list for the summer.
For sure. But yeah, it's I can't believe it's been 15 years for Revenge of the Sith.
Oh man, yeah, I've seen them all. I've seen them all in the theater. Granted, I wasn't alive when the original 70s and 80s films came out, but when they re-released them in '97 for the special editions, I was there for that. I was there for the prequels, and we all saw them at the same theater. My dad made sure that we saw these films at the best theater, or local theater, I should say, the Senator. And the Senator is an old school movie house, and we saw it on a big screen, all the Star Wars movies. And I was like, man, this is the place if you're going to see a big blockbuster film, like this, best place to see it is at the Senator. So if you're ever in the area of Maryland and you've heard the words Maryland and the Senator in the same sentence, you know what I'm talking about. That was a great theater. And my dad, bless his heart, he's not here anymore, but man,
Right.
every time I go see a Star Wars movie in the Senator, I'm always going to be thinking, man, I remember because I remember like it was yesterday. I remember I was at a friend's house, and I'm sorry, I'm kind of veering off track here, but I was in.
No, you're good. That's what we're here for.
Yeah, it was in '97, right? Special editions were about to come out. I'm at my friend's house at the end of the street. We lived in a cul-de-sac kind of neighborhood, And I'm at my friend's house, and we're playing outside because we were done playing N64 that day, GoldenEye, I think it was. And we're outside, kicking the ball around, and my dad's car pulls up. He says, Ryan, you better get home. We're going to be leaving soon. I said, why? What's going on? What's wrong? He's like, Luke, I am your father. I'm like, oh my God, we're going to see Star Wars. We're going to see Star Wars. So I hightailed it to the house, and we jump in the car. We go to the center. We see Episode 4, A New Hope, at the center for the special editions, and my mind was blown. I was like, yes. This is why we go to the movies. This is the kind of thrills and excitement that I want every time I walk into a movie theater. And that is some of my best memories of my late father taking my family night of the theater. It's just a great time.
That is awesome. I got to see, it was one of the times they were bringing all the originals back out into the theater. And it was the time where they brought Return of the Jedi. And my mom loves the Ewoks. She absolutely loves them. So she's like, do you want to go see that? I'm like, yes, please. And we went and saw Return of the Jedi in theaters. And because that's always been my favorite. Out of all of them, that is my absolute favorite. And it was, it was so cool to see it because that was the first time I ever got to see that in a theater. All the other times, all the originals I've seen, on TV and never in a big screen. So it was really cool to see that in a big version. I still have not seen Rise of Skywalker. I've seen all the stuff for it. I've watched CinemaSins and all the breakdowns. I never really got into this new the sequel trilogy. I've seen the first I've seen the 7 and 8, and it never did anything much for me. And I don't know why, but I've been digging more of the TV shows. I love the Clone Wars. I love how they finished it, and I've been really digging the Mandalorian, and I cannot wait. And all the news that has been coming out from Mandalorian season 2. Wow, the characters that they're bringing in, the actors that they're bringing in that you don't even know the characters they're playing.
Yeah, the talent that they're bringing in is incredible.
So I'm really looking forward to that. There's even rumors, and I don't know if it's been confirmed yet or not, but they're looking into making an Asuka series, so that'll be really neat. Wow. I hope that the only thing I feel bad is anything with Asuka now, especially after the 7th season of Clone Wars. There's a book that just came out not too long ago telling the story of Asuka Tano. Is that how it is?
Ahsoka Tano.
Ahsoka Tano. Damn. Your names are hard. What can I say? But Ahsoka.
It's okay. That's why I'm here. It's okay.
I'm thinking WWE.
Yeah, Asuka. I'm like, wait a minute. I remember hearing that name. But that's wrestling. That's not Star Wars. You're thinking of Ahsoka Tano, the character. I believe Rosario Dawson has been cast to play her in The Mandalorian.
She has.
But I'm down for that. I mean, the girl's been in Marvel, as Night Nurse on the Netflix show. She knows how to kick tail and take names. She can do it.
Oh yeah. Well, and they are. They had this book out that came out, I want to say something just last year, and it was actually part of the canon and everything, and I think it was through Disney or however it works. I don't know the magic of becoming canon in Star Wars.
Disney, yeah.
Yeah, but when these last episodes of Clone Wars came out, it totally retconned it.
Oh, wow, okay.
It's not how it goes now, and so, because I guess whatever comes to the screen, like TV or movie, that's the official story. I've been trying to explain stuff like that to my friend at work because he's into this stuff. He really loves Star Wars. He really likes it. He watches it quite a bit. And then he's kind of into comics. So we talk about this here and there, and he doesn't really understand how canon works and how he's like, who says it's canon or not? I'm like, I guess Disney now. I don't know. I just hear this is canon, this is not, and this is how it goes.
Yeah, it's a bit of a strange wheel that's been turning, but yeah, I'm Mandalorian. I cannot tell you how many times I've seen people post pictures of all the toys that they are buying from the Mandalorian, the casting news that's been coming out, especially I use it. I mean, hey, I'm guilty of this myself. This is the way. I say that in a ton of different posts, whether it's Star Wars related or sometimes not. I'm like, this is the way. I got this today at the store. Well, guess what? This is the way. That's what you do. Like,
there you go.
It's a meme. It's great, but I love it. And everyone who works on Mandalorian's killing it. And the guy who even plays Mandalorian, Pedro Pascal, he's fantastic. I love what he's doing. So bring me more Mandalorian because I'm all in. I mean, heck, I got the carbonized graphite 6-inch Black Series figure. They're doing a re-release of it because the first line of it was sold out completely. I'm getting that shipped over from overseas later on this summer, so I'll have that in my collection as part of my Star Wars collection. Yeah, because I got the Black Series Luke Skywalker from Episode 4 sitting in my man cave closet, which is over here. So that's nice. And I just read 2 Star Wars trades earlier today. One of them is was it Star Wars Shattered Empire, Journey to the Force Awakens right here. There's here's a little plug for you.
Very nice.
There's that one. And then I also read Screaming Citadel, which features Dr. Aphra, which is a character a lot of people like. A lot of people like Dr. Aphra, and there she is right there. So if you guys are looking for something to read or something cool to read, check out Star Wars Shattered Empire, Journey to Force Awakens, and Star Wars Screaming Citadel. And there's your plug, Disney. Boom. There you go. 2 trade paperbacks right there. And they're good, too. They're good reading. They're good reading. That's just 2 of the 4 that I read this afternoon.
Very cool. Very cool. Yeah, that was actually what I wanted to talk about next is, what have you been reading? Because you said you've been going through a stack of stuff.
I'm in the process of going through a stack of stuff now because I just finished up our finals last week. So now that summer break is officially upon us and my fellow students out there, I've been reading a few trades. Let me see. I read Halo. What is it called? Halo? Is it not Half-Life? Bloodline, I think it's called. That was a trade paperback based off a video game. That was really good. There's 2 Star Wars I just showed you. I read those today. And this, I got to say, I'm really starting to dig these Western movies I've been watching the last couple of years. This is based off the Clint Eastwood film of the same name, The Man with No Name. That's right, Clint Eastwood from The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, Fistful of Dollars for a few dollars more. These trade paperbacks, brought to you by our good friends at Dynamite Comics, # not a sponsor. These take place after the events of The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. Like, what would happen after that trilogy? What happens to the Man with No Name? Does he go off and find someone to be with? Does he just keep going, riding off into the sunset, into the west, and finding billions of dollars of gold like he did in the 3rd movie? You don't know. But these 2, this is volume 1. It's called Sinners and Saints. That's the first one. That's volume 1. Volume 2 is right here, and that's called, what is it? Holiday in the Sun. Holiday in the Sun. Those are the 4 trades that I read today. They were awesome. I liked all 4. I'm going to keep them. And if I ever feel the need to go back into the Western genre a little bit or go back into the Star Wars galaxy, I can go back and read those 2. So I still got more to read. Still got more coming our way. But those are the 7 actually that I've read so far. I read a Transformers trade, but it was Halo Bloodline was really good. And then I read a comic book version of The Invisible Man by H.G. Wells. That was pretty cool. Because that's actually my favorite of the classic Universal monster movies from back in the heyday. Right. Some of those films were black and white. The Invisible Man with Claude Rains is probably my top favorite. That one, and then behind that is Creature from the Black Lagoon, and then I think behind that is The Wolfman with Lon Chaney Jr.
Nice.
So there you go, guys. That's just the tip of the iceberg of what I got going on reading wise.
I'm waiting for because I've been getting my stuff through Kingdom of Comics lately, and trying to support them through all this craziness.
Good place.
Oh yeah, I love going down there. Can't wait to get back down there. I think they're opening up tomorrow, or they're opening up this week. They're doing 25% capacity. Yep. But yeah, they're finally opening up. And so please, if you are in the Melbourne area, go check out Kingdom of Comics. Tell them I sent you, and tell them I said hi. But I actually got with them. We may be doing a little bit of live stuff together. We want to. There's some talks of doing Facebook Live reviews of some books and everything.
So yes,
yeah, I am currently reading because there's some books I just never read. I didn't get into actually reading comic books until I've gotten older, and so I was just I was trying to buy just whatever I could from them to keep them help them out. So I'm like what can I read? Throw me something. He goes, read Maximum Carnage. I'm like, okay. So I've been reading it, and I won't give a full review because number one, I'm not done yet. I'm a slow reader, and number two, I want to do the full review with them. I'm a little underwhelmed, but I think the main reason is because it's reading it. It's quite an old story, and like some of the dialogue and some of the things that happen were like you're kind of like I've seen worse. I'm figuring at the time it was probably like pretty like holy crap, but I've been forcing myself to read it. I haven't gotten into it fully. I'm a little over halfway done, so I'm hoping maybe the ending gets kind of like cool. But I remember the video game, but I have not been like it's been nice to read, but it hasn't been like, oh my god, I can't put it down. There's been many other comic books that have been like I can't. So the one that I'm dying to read, and they have it ordered for me, but it was been taking a while to come in because of all this crap. Is the Marvel Darth Vader series that they just came out with, and they finally have been bringing them to. They're doing 2 volumes of the hardcovers, or
wow.
And I'm like, I want
great.
that. So
there you go.
When those come in, I can't wait to read that. But hopefully I'll have those soon. I've been wanting to message Jason of Kingdom of Comics, but I haven't finished reading Maximum Carnage, so I didn't want him to go, oh, you want to do the review? I haven't finished it
yet. yeah, no, he's a nice guy. I bought a Funko Pop from those guys.
Awesome.
From
Thank
Kingdom
you for
of Comics.
supporting them.
Yeah, it was actually, I think you're familiar with this thing. It's called Pro Wrestling, and I got a WWE Funko Pop. It's the man who can spear and jackhammer you like there's no tomorrow. Goldberg.
Nice.
I got Goldberg in my pop collection now. So thank you to the crew at Kingdom of Comics. I appreciate you.
The last time we were at Kingdom of Comics, I bought my wife a Funko Pop. We don't buy too many of them because I don't need all of. But I found her a Forky. And we love Forky. I have never felt such a connection with a character before.
Toy Story 4, yeah.
Yeah, the last time I did was Stitch from Lilo and Stitch, and man, Forky is just I love that dude. So yeah, I bought her a little Funko Pop Forky who sits in her new room now. So
that's awesome, man. That's great.
Yeah. So I can't wait to get Darth Vader, and then I still want to get into that. I think we talked about it last time we were together, the Transformers and
Terminator.
Transformers versus Terminator. So I gotta get. I asked them if they had any copies, and they were out. They just sold the last one before I messaged them. I'm like, damn it.
Oh man. So, the first issue, it's only been one issue because everything was delayed or stopped for a while because of the situation with COVID-19 respectively. But issue 1 is really good, and I just found out I believe issue 2 is going to be coming out somewhere in June or July. It's going to be a process to get everything back on track, but it's going to come back, and when it does, it'll be shipped over to me because I got my subscription box in my local comic shop. # support your local comic shops.
Yes.
So I'm very much looking forward to reading that, as well as Star Wars Bounty Hunters. That's still going on with Marvel and Disney. So I'm looking forward to reading that. That is anything having to do with characters that we're not familiar with or not overly familiar with in the Star Wars universe. I'm down to read, and especially the criminal underworld. It's fascinating what happens. And
I want to read some more of that stuff.
As soon as it says Star Wars Bounty Hunters, I'm like, yep, sign me up. I want to read it. I want to read about these characters because, as they said in Empire Strikes Back, bounty hunters, you don't need this scum. Yes, sir.
Yes. Yeah. For sure.
Man, speaking of which, anniversaries. It's the 40th anniversary of Empire Strikes Back this year.
Wow, that is crazy.
Yeah. 40 years young, right? Right? 40 years young is the Empire Strikes Back. Go figure.
Man, that's awesome. All right, so I got some more. We've talked Star Wars, we've talked comics, we've talked CyberCon. Let's talk a couple of movies and things we've been watching. So my first one, have you seen the new movie Scoob?
No, because I'm not a big Scooby-Doo fan.
Sorry. I gotta find somebody to chat with this movie about.
Sorry.
It is. I've always liked Scooby-Doo. I always watched the old cartoons. Scooby-Doo, Where Are You? The old ones. Mm-hmm. And I've kind of checked out pretty much every version of Scooby-Doo that's been possible. I got to say, they did a fantastic job on this movie. It is a great new telling of the story and bringing it into a modern time, but keeping a lot of that old school. And it's the old school stuff. You're not really getting, because some of The live action ones are okay, they're fun to watch, but eh. And then like some of the ones that like WWE has put out were just weird. But they do a fantastic job of finding this balance. There's a ton of Easter eggs through this freaking movie. I found so many. They've basically built a Hanna-Barbera universe, which is fantastic. So I'm hoping this movie does well, so you can, number one, get a sequel, because I definitely think it deserves a sequel. Okay. And number two, almost get this movie universe into it. I don't want to give too much out because it just came out. I'm going to try to find somebody to do like a review or something down the road. But there's so much stuff, and there's so many different cartoons that they could branch off to now. That I'm really hoping it does well, because right now it didn't go to movies. It went straight to, the downloading stuff. Mm-hmm. So it's an interesting time for a movie right now. But Trolls did fantastic. Trolls did even better than they thought it would, and even better than in the movies. So we'll see what happens. Here, let me plug your YouTube channel real quick. I'm going to plug my computer in because it's about to die.
If you guys are interested, we have a YouTube channel. It's myself and a few of my friends. We call ourselves Nerd Culture. Our channel is got over 200 subscribers now, and we appreciate that. We thank you all for subscribing. Check us out on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram at It's Nerd Culture, and you can find a link to our latest video in our bio on our Instagram account or Facebook account, or our Twitter feed. Check us out there. We do videos on pretty much anything nerdy, whether it be movies, TV series, comics, anime, video games. We just dropped some videos the other day. The girls did their dream cast of who they would cast to be in a live-action Hercules film, speaking of Disney. And then Travis and I sat down and we went back into space with our fellow Andros and Ashley and Cassie and TJ and all the other Rangers, Zane and Carlos, and we talked about Power Rangers in space. Let's rock it, as they would say on the show. That was fun, and we're looking forward to doing more stuff like that somewhere down the line. But yeah, just check us out, follow us there. Oh, hey, Thomas, there you are.
You're not lying when you talk about Power Rangers. Thomas just shows up.
Yep, Nerd.
Welcome, Lord of Thunder. Thomas is here. Thomas Rochester. Such a freaking awesome name, Thomas Rochester.
Yeah,
he needs to be the third or something now.
Yeah, and not only that, but he definitely pulls off the Thor part. Like when he cosplays and puts that voice out there, like he is Thor Odin's son. Like I can do a good impression, but I think Thomas has got me beat. So Thomas, props to you. Was it that parody?
Yes.
Thank you, Thomas. We appreciate your support, man. It's fun. We look forward to doing stuff like that somewhere down the line. I think we may. Not to give anything, I know I probably shouldn't say this, but we're thinking of doing a video recap on the next season, which is after In Space, which in this case is Lost Galaxy. So if you're into Lost Galaxy, we may be coming to a Galaxy / YouTube channel near you. So stay tuned for that. There was a little tease, a little nugget for you guys to chew on while you wait patiently for that great video.
There you go. And hello to Mac O'Grady, actually last week's guest, one of his younger brothers. So good to see you, sir. Thanks for popping in. So yeah, all right. So we're talking movies. Have you seen the new Mortal Kombat cartoon movie?
Here's the thing. I don't have as much access to streaming services or financial means to get some of these films, so I'm a little bit, I'm a broke college kid, so that's unfortunate, but it happens. But what I've been not rewatching, excuse me. I've been watching some of the older films, like from the 90s or the 2000s. Granted, I've had some movie trivia matches that I've been competing in, so I've had to watch certain movies to like get my brain going for those matches, make sure I can remember everything. I mean, we just got our list for the movies that we have to watch for round 3 for a match that we're taping this weekend. I can't say anything more than that because I don't want to give it away. Right. But the list for this week, I'm like, wow, there's some good titles on this list. I can dig this. But anyway, as far as what movies I've been watching, here's a throwback for the audience out there. I don't know if anyone's ever seen this movie. It stars Alec Baldwin, Penelope Ann Miller. You also have Tim Curry, big name actor. The Shadow.
Man, I haven't seen that in forever.
Dude, I've been waiting a long time to watch this movie. Why? Because I was at a convention and I bought CDs of the original 1930s radio show that was voiced by Orson Welles, Citizen Kane himself. Orson Welles is the voice of the Shadow from the radio show. And I listened to a little bit of that, and I'm like, I really want to watch this movie with Alec Baldwin now, because we talked about it in one of my film classes. We just didn't get a chance to sit down and watch it. So I watched it a few days ago, and I'm like, Okay, not the greatest plot I've ever seen in a movie, but you know what? It's not that bad. The cheesiness doesn't take me out of the movie, it doesn't ruin it for me. And Alec Baldwin, I thought he was really good as Lamont Cranston / the Shadow. I liked his voice. He has a perfect voice for this character. So that's one of the latest, I guess, so-and-so movies I've seen. One of the more modern films that I've seen. This is a weird movie, and this is a film that just bizarro. It's called The Favorite, and it stars Emma Stone and Rachel Weisz. Olivia Colman. Takes place in Victoria, Victorian period, about the Queen. She's going through some rough stuff, and she has, was it Rachel Weisz is her best friend
Oh, okay. Yeah.
yeah,
I haven't seen it, but I remember the commercials.
Okay, so you know what I'm talking about. So, you have her servant, and then Emma Stone is like the new servant, comes in, takes all the attention away from Rachel Weisz. So it's like a competition between the two girls. It's a little bit of a cat fight going on. There's no physical violence. I'm just saying. But that movie is it's solid acting. Don't get me wrong. The acting by all the actors in the movie is great, but the movie is bizarre in some spots. It's bizarre. It's so bizarre. I'm like, I don't know if does that really happen? Yeah, they took creative liberties here, as most movies do anyway. But yeah, those are some of the movies that I've seen recently. So if you guys were around in '94 and you remember The Shadow, let us know in the comments. If you know what I'm talking about with The Favorite, let me know what your thoughts are, because I'd be very curious.
So if we're going with old movies, because I've been watching a lot of stuff, just because I've been trying to stay home as much as possible. So
sure.
And trying to support the movie industry, because I know it's hurting right now. So I've been just, if it's $20 to rent a movie, F it, it's $20 to rent a movie.
Sure.
But I've been watching some old stuff, because some old stuff's popping up on Netflix here and there. And Ace Ventura: Pet Detective just popped up on Netflix.
Love that movie.
I love that movie. Now, I will say I actually love the second one a little bit more.
Oh,
I don't know why. I'd have to watch it again.
Sure.
But I might have seen the second one first and then went back and watched the first one. It could be possible. But I've always loved, I think, I remember more lines from the second one.
Wow.
And like when, in the second one, when he goes and like, he flips the Jeep around and around and around and goes and lands in the parking space, and he's like, like a glove. I still do that to this day. I still do that.
Man,
so, but man, Pet Detective, the first one, I forgot how good it was. I really liked it. I forgot how dirty it was too.
There's some weird stuff in that movie. Laces out, baby. Laces out.
Laces out.
But I'll say this though. This is a true story. I'm going to let your audience in on this. When I started quoting movies when I was a young Padawan, before I knew what the Force was and I became a Jedi, sorry, wrong movie. But when I was a much younger lad, what I did was I quoted movies to my classmates, because that's just something I learned. That's just something I enjoyed doing, right? The first two movies I ever quoted in the history of my movie quoting career, if you want to call it a career or more a hobby, really, because I don't get paid for it yet. Yeah. I was quoting Robin Williams' The Genie from Aladdin and Jim Carrey's Ace Ventura every single day of the week and twice on Sunday, because I loved, and I still do to this day, those two movies had a huge influence on me as wanting to become an actor. And Jim Carrey, Ace Ventura, like, so many lines in the first one you can just quote just right off the top. Like, you don't even need to watch the film. It's like tattooed in my brain. Like, the cockroach bit, or what's the password? New England clam chowder. Is that the red or the white? I never remember that. White? And then he like gets the date with Courtney Cox, and they go to the party, and he's like, do not go in there. And then he tries to feed the shark. It's like, oh God, like Dan Marino and him, and then Laces Out, and then Lois Einhorn. Come on. So good.
I also forgot how a bit raunchy it is.
Oh, it's raunchy.
My boss forgot how raunchy it was too. So we were kind of talking about it, because I said I was watching it, because I was actually watching it during my lunch break.
Sure.
And I talked about it. And my boss is like, yeah, I was sitting down with my son. And I went, you were what? What? He's like, yeah, I was, because he has a son maybe in around 10 or so. And
oh boy.
he was. And his kids are not allowed to watch stuff like anything and things like that. And I'm like, oh, that's a bad idea. He goes, yeah, we got to that first part, and I totally, when he's hanging on the thing after he gives the dog back to the lady. I'm like, I totally forgot about that part too.
You want to know a fun fact about that scene? Is that the woman in that scene is the same woman who makes a cameo at the very end of Three Amigos, is the girl who makes out with Ned, played by Martin Short's character, at the very end of Three Amigos, and she pops up again in Ace Ventura as the girl who was looking for that that dog in the very beginning.
I'll be damned. That's crazy.
There you go. Fun fact, baby.
Fun fact of the day. But yeah, I love Ace Ventura, and I think I'm going to, if I have time this weekend, I'm going to see if I can get on YouTube or something and rent the second one, because I'm dying to watch it now. I looked at my movie collection. I don't have either. And I'm like, you got to be shitting me. But yeah, so I will be hunting that one down very soon.
That's a good call.
And then I've also been watching, just a shout out if anybody's looking for like a new show to watch, The Great. Have you seen the trailers or anything for that? It's on Hulu.
Oh, it's called The Great, you say?
Yeah, it's called The Great. It's on Hulu. Oh. It's a new Hulu original.
Never heard of it.
It's basically the story. It's kind of the story. I'm calling it a dramatic comedy. I don't know what I think they're calling it more of a comedy.
Sure.
But it will jump from dramatic to comedy and back to dramatic in like real quick. So you're like laughing your ass off, and then all of a sudden you're going, "Oh, that's effed up." But it's about I want to say Catherine the Great, or it's about a Russian emperor who gets a bride. My wife is poking in. Yes, dear.
Catherine the Great.
Yes, it's about Catherine the Great. I'm gonna put surround their silent shit on here so I quit getting yelled at from another room. Thank you, dear.
It's about when she did the coup to get Peter III.
A coup, not a coup. A coup is with chickens. She did not throw chickens around.
I think she means the coup, like put together a coup.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So
her husband Peter III advocated for the throne.
Yes. Thank you, honey. Bye-bye. Don't. I'm gonna cut you later. Anyways, she flicks me off. So yeah, it's about Catherine the Great, and it's like a loose storytelling of it. They even say there's like a little asterisk on it in the opening title, and it says some mostly accurate or something like that. But it's the telling of how Catherine the Great took over the leadership of Russia from her husband. Yeah. So, like, Catherine the Great is played by, I believe, the girl from Alice in Wonderland, the live-action one.
Oh, Mia Wasikowska.
Yeah, and then...
Mia Wasikowski. Yeah.
Yes,
one of the two.
Go away. I think it is. I know her from something. Anyway,
hi, Bunny. How you doing?
Brian says hi. She says hi. And then it also has the Emperor is played by the gentleman that played Beast in the X-Men First Class.
Oh, Nicholas Hoult. Yeah, good actor. Good actor.
And he does a really good job for because basically you want to punch this dude in the face every time he's on there.
Nice.
And the first episode, I've watched the first 2 episodes. The first episode is basically shows her coming in as a young, hopeful girl, and then going and coming in and getting married to the Emperor. And she thinks of all these great and amazing things, like how her life is going to be. And it just shows, like, by the end, she's ready to kill him. Like, literally, she was planning on a coup and going to kill him. It is an offense. I just tried it out because normally I'm not into the medieval type shows and things like that.
Period pieces, yeah.
Yeah, but this is fantastic. It's kind of easy to keep up with, and a lot of fun. So if anybody has a chance, please check it out. And if anybody, I may try to binge watch it here soon. And if anybody wants to do a little show or something about it, let me know. Yeah. But we've got about 10 minutes left, and I think the most important thing we got to talk in this episode is news that dropped. Like, I just saw it right before we went live. I don't know if you saw this or not, but it's of Batwoman.
Yeah, I heard. This? I did hear it. Yeah, popped up on my feed.
Yeah, Ruby Rose, the woman that brought Batwoman to life, is leaving the show after 1 season. From what I did a quick reading of, she didn't give an actual reason. Yeah. She didn't point out. She said everything. She loved everybody, loved the opportunity, thought everything was great. But she is leaving the show, and now they're going to have to replace her. first off, she went through a lot of shit just to go through one season. Because I remember when she was announced, like, everybody lost their minds for some reason.
Yeah, I didn't really understand. I didn't really understand. Maybe a little part of me understood, but at the end of the day, I'm like, it's a new show, and this is a character I don't think we've seen. I mean, we've seen her in different iterations, but this is a different iteration of the character from another Earth, I think it was. So it's like, it's a different Earth. Why should it matter? Just let her play the character the way she plays the character. If you like it, great. If you don't, you don't. I mean, it's open to interpret. Now, I have not seen Batwoman season 1. I've only seen her appearances in the crossovers, so I'm familiar with Ruby, and she was also in my favorite John Wick movie, John Wick Chapter 2.
I love her in that movie.
She was the one who was like sign languaging John, like, hey, see you soon, see you later, whatever. Okay, Ruby, great in that movie. Great. John Wick 2 should have gotten Oscars that year. I love you, John Wick. Her in the crossovers, the most recent one I think was Crisis on Infinite Earth. I thought she was fine, but she didn't really have a whole lot to do. But in the previous crossover, Elseworlds, which is when we were introduced to her, that was good stuff. That stuff I dug because they did the little nod and wink to the camera about World's Finest between her and Supergirl. Right. That I was cool with. That I liked. I was like, okay, this could be something that we could be seeing, somewhere down the line. And then the show comes out. I didn't see it because I'm not really into the CW universe shows anymore. I just focus on the crossovers specifically. But yeah, I heard she dropped out. She didn't give a reason. I heard she suffered an injury during one of the stunts earlier in the season. She had to get health or medical attention for that and all that kind of stuff. But that wasn't the reason for her leaving. So I'm curious as to why. But to me, if I had to speculate, because I know we don't have a reason, I'm just speculating. I think it may have had something to do with the hate she got online. I think the internet trolls may have driven her off. I may be wrong, but I'm just speculating. I
think that could definitely be a part of it. I will say, because Thomas is saying that he's sad to see her go, and he thought Batwoman was a great show. I think it's been a really good show. I was hoping they would go a little bit more with some stuff in season 2. Yeah. I've gotten a little bored the last couple episodes with Batwoman, and I'm not sure why. I can't really pinpoint it. Almost a little bit felt repetitive with the Alice stuff and everything like that. But it's been that one and Flash has been really the only two I've been watching like nonstop this year. We had Arrow and everything, and I think Arrows was one of the best seasons that they've had in a long time. But Batwoman felt like it was missing something, and I don't know what. I don't know if it was some more iconic villains or something to that nature, or like
or Kevin Conroy. No, I'm kidding.
Or just like you kept. They just went back to Alice a lot, and like the stuff with Alice to me felt very repetitive. And you would get so far and then go back and forth. It felt like kind of like a boomerang thing with that character and that character arc. So maybe. And the other thing is maybe she wasn't happy with them. The CW shows are not coming back until 2021 now.
Oh, yeah, because of the situation with COVID-19 and production delays, and all the shows are shut down, so they can't do anything. They can just ship them, they can re-air the episodes on CW, or they ship them over to Netflix. And even that, I think that, didn't someone say the contract between Netflix and CW, like the newer shows aren't going to be on the streaming service, only the older stuff is going to be on it? It's something like that. I can't remember all the details, but... Yeah,
the last I knew, as soon as the season's done, all the episodes from that season go to Netflix. Yeah. So I'm curious on how they're going to roll with it now, because technically the seasons are done, but it wasn't the official ending of the season.
No, that's right.
I think Flash might be done. I'm not positive. The last episode I watched was, I believe, last week's, and they had to be continued on it. So I don't know. I'm pretty sure that might have been the season finale. Batwoman's season finale was Sunday, and Thomas said that Hush was fantastic. Thomas says Batwoman is the only one not going to Netflix.
Oh, wow. So that's a huge disadvantage.
Oh, and Flash came out today on Netflix. Holy crap. Right.
Well, Legends I know is still going on, and I just found this out while I was programming my DVR to tape, because one of my shows on the CW comes back this week, and that's The 100. The 100 is 100 is a great show, and it's coming back for its 7th and final season. So this is a big deal for them. So
Wow, I
congrats.
can't believe it lasted that long.
7 years, baby, and all the seasons are on Netflix if you want to binge watch it, because that is a freaking-tastic show, and it's criminally underrated too. But anyway, I was programming it to tape, and I noticed the new CW DC series Stargirl is premiering this week. And I was like, oh. I saw the trailer. I liked it. I was like, okay, I'll give Stargirl a chance. I remember her appearing, granted, a different iteration of the character, of course.
Right.
But she appeared on My Baby show. That's Smallville, baby. She was on that, and I was like, okay, I like Stargirl on Smallville. Can she carry her own show? I don't know. We'll find out. And that premieres tomorrow. It's either tonight or tomorrow. It's one of the two. And actually, no, I think it is tonight, isn't it? I think it is. It's either tonight or one of the nights. It's one of the nights. I can't remember exactly. But looking forward to watching that. Looking forward to watching The 100, because Stargirl, that could be the last newish show we get for a good while, because it premieres tomorrow or tonight. It's one of the two, but I'm looking forward to seeing how that goes, considering Luke Wilson. Luke Wilson is a member of the main cast of Stargirl, so I'm curious to see
and
where
it
that
looks
goes.
it looks like they're going to a little bit more of a funny route on that one, not super serious, which is nice, because some of these CW shows just too much drama a little bit. I think that's why a lot of people love Legends of Tomorrow so much, because they're more of the comedy stuff and the kind of crazy, wacky stuff a lot. I got to get back into Legends of Tomorrow. I kind of dropped off after one of the seasons, kind of just couldn't keep up with it, and was the one season, that was another one where every episode was starting to feel repetitive. And I don't mind them messing up and being kind of like a mismatched thing, but it was like every episode, oh, we left this up. Oh, we have this up. We got to fix this. And I'm like, okay, could we go through one mission slightly doing it okay? But I got to get back into it and try it again. So maybe once it all hits Netflix again, I'll give it a good another try. Because John Constantine's on there now, so I really got to watch it with him.
Yeah, man, I wish if you want to go a different direction or go a bit of a darker route, which I'm a fan of the more darker, more serious, gritty type show. If you give Constantine his own show again, please do, because Matt Ryan is it's a good Constantine, man. I like what he's doing.
Yeah, he does a fantastic job. I've heard some rumors and some stuff about possibly a Justice League Dark coming around, and possibly Keanu Reeves coming back as Constantine. I've only seen it once. I haven't seen more of it. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see if they do anything with that.
When I think of Keanu, all I think is John Wick. That's all I think of. I'm sorry, but he's played so many roles in his career. Don't get me wrong, Keanu. We still like your roles, but your main role, when I see it, you appear on camera, all I see is a man who killed a man with a pencil.
Yes.
Your name is John freaking Wick,
and I
can't wait till John Wick 4, baby. Yeah, that's the thing. Like, it's a great trilogy on its own, but man, it ends on a huge cliffhanger in 3, so I can understand why they made a 4th. But man, we got to wait forever for these sequels because we blame you, COVID-19.
I just I did a rewatch a couple weekends ago because I just wanted to chill and watch something, and I watched John Wick 2 and 3. If I watch 1, I have to skip the whole puppy part. I go right to right after the puppy. Yeah. Because I can't handle it. I can't do it. But yeah, oh man, I love rewatching it. And my wife even got sucked up into it and was watching it. And it's just they're such good movies. But I think we have we're at that 8 o'clock time, so I love to keep these episodes just an hour. I know I only have the patience to listen to a full hour, but I think we got a little bit of everything in there. So I think we did really well. I appreciate you hopping in, Ryan. So if you want to plug in your show and all your stuff real quick, please do.
Yes, sir. Thank you for having me on the show tonight. I appreciate it. Thank you. You can find my podcast. It's called The Nerdcast. You can download episodes for free on Anchor, Google, Spotify, Apple, wherever you download your podcast. You can download my episodes there. That's where I talk about movies past and maybe a little bit of the present, even though the market's kind of on hold because of COVID-19, but you can download episodes there. I talk about 2 movies an episode on average. And then Nerd Culture, check us out on YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram at It's Nerd Culture. We got a whole bunch of videos up right now. We got new ones coming away very soon. We just passed over 200 subscribers on our YouTube. We got over 300. I think we got over 300 followers on our Instagram. So thank you to everybody who has subscribed, who has liked our pages, who has followed our pages. We cannot do this content and entertain the millions and millions of people out there without supportive people like you. So thank you to everybody. Thanks for having me on the show, Josh. I cannot wait to come back here and do this again. And if you need someone on that super show that they do on SmackDown and Raw, and they put them together, they mash the superstars together in one big bowl, and they see how chaotic it can get, sign the team of Nerd Culture and I up, because we are more than happy to chime in and talk whatever it is. You want to talk video games? Fine. You want to talk wrestling? Absolutely. We're down for it, man. But thank you from the bottom of my heart and the bottom of Nerd Culture's heart for having me on the show today, man.
Of course, man. Love having you on. Love chatting with you. It's always a nice time to catch up with you. So I think we'll have to do this every few months or so. Mm-hmm. I think if we do a super show thing, I think you, me, and Thomas have to get together and do one of those very soon. I think we could have a lot of fun. So I'll keep that in mind. Once I get more into later in June, I'm going on vacation first week in June. Once I come back, I'm going to start hitting the ground running with the show and everything and get more into it and actually plan ahead a little bit more. So we will get that going. If you enjoyed the show, please like the JBauerart page. Follow me on all social media. Go over to Hanging with Web Show, the HWWS WebTV, to find past episodes. All 3 of them are up right now. The 4th episode is going to be dropping this Thursday, and then you can catch this episode probably the following Thursday. This is Back Talk with Bauer. You can purchase all the paintings you see behind me and more at jbauerartshop.com. And I was going to plug something, and then I just totally blanked out. Oh, so next week's show, I'm not sure if I'm going to do the show or not. It's kind of 50-50 right now. I'm actually going to be getting ready for my vacation. So I got to see what all I have ready and make sure I'm not working late, because I got to make sure everything's good at work. If I do the show, I'm kind of thinking of doing almost like a Russian roulette of guests and kind of putting it out there. Who wants to come on? And I will toss a link to people and see who wants to come on when, and maybe give, I don't know, it may just be crazy chaos and kind of like a test one, and see if we get people wanting to come on the show, number 1, and number 2, how people dig it. So if that happens and it's fun, and everybody digs it, we may do that more often when I'm just not in the mood for, I don't want to have totally something planned out, because I'm going to be, Tuesday is 1 foot in the sand on my vacation. So it'll be an interesting, crazy episode if I do that. If not, the week after, I will definitely be doing an episode from my vacation. So stay tuned to see who's going to be my guest on that one. That should be a lot of fun. I'll be announcing that a little bit later. But please like, share, comment, tweet, kick, what I don't know, any other things, TikTok things, and all that stuff. And we will catch you guys next time. Later.